All right, welcome back to the One Bar and Lupagus show. I am One Bar,
I am Lupagus.
and
It's
we're
great.
here. We're here. It's April 7th, by the way, which just so happens to be National Beer Day, I believe.
I think you're
What
right.
you got there? All I can see is blinds.
I have a Minnesota Gold Lager.
It sounds like Minnesota Gold shits.
It will be in the morning.
High Life Light, best you can get. All right,
Mm.
today we're strictly talking Vikings NFL draft. We're going to rip off a 7-round mock draft. The Vikings have 12 picks, 12 glorious picks. So we're gonna rip one out. But before we get into that, let's talk draft needs for the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, I think the biggest one is cornerback. Vikings cut Xavier Rhodes. They lost Trey Waynes and Mackenzie Alexander to the Bengals. Right now, they got Mike Hughes, Holton Hill, Chris Boyd as your starting three, which is horrifying. There's just no experience there. They have like
Gross.
9 combined starts. So you got to get some more talent there. Hopefully, they bring in a veteran still, but I think cornerback probably tops the list.
Cornerback tops the list. Other guys or other positions, obviously wide receiver, Stephon Diggs. That's why a big chunk of our 12 picks is a return on him. So we're going to be looking at receiver, offensive line. I mean, really, when it comes down to it, defensive line, there's not many that isn't a need.
Yeah, I think the ones that aren't really, you're looking at, I wouldn't expect them to grab a tight end, probably not a running back. Linebackers down the board too, but you never know. The Vikings, like you said, at 12 picks, they could pretty much hit anything they want to, but I think we pretty much hit them all, the main needs. I even think quarterback is still in play. If someone falls and the value's there, I think they might jump on somebody.
I'm surprised you said linebackers in a need. I know how much you love Ben Gideon, so you must just be hoping that extension's coming real soon.
I don't like Ben Gideon. I think he is just as generic.
Stop it. Hey, it's National Beer Day. Watch your mouth.
Essential every day. If he was a beer, he'd be essential everyday beer.
Oh, God, I'm surprised they don't have that, actually. That would taste, that kind of seems like right up my alley, really.
Yeah, it really is.
All right, so Vikings 7-round mock draft. We're going to keep it realistic. We're not going to go pipe dream style. We're not going to have guys sliding that have no right being there. We're gonna keep it as real as possible. So pick number 22, which was the one from Stephon Diggs from the Buffalo Bills. We're starting it right off. This is my choice. We're gonna go back and forth here. So Lupagus is going to be on pins and needles on who's coming off the board.
The game of racquetball.
Racquetball. I'd say more like pickleball. All right, I am going cornerback, and the Vikings' first pick of the 2020 NFL Draft is cornerback from LSU, Christian Fulton. Christian Fulton, we got to get a corner in round one. There's no way we can't do it. It's gonna C.J. Henderson, and obviously Okudah is going to be Gonzo. I think Fulton is the number 3 corner. At this point, it's Fulton's kind of all over the board. Right now, he would step in as a day one starter. He's athletic. He moves smooth. He plays physical. He's got it all. He's 6 foot 200, so he's not going to wall you with his size. He needs to be a better tackler, but the everything's there. He's a real deal. He's only got 2 career picks, which people look at, but really nobody threw his way. My biggest concern with him is his off the field. He was suspended for a year because he used someone else's pee because he may have been doing bad things. But hopefully he learned his lesson.
Have you ever used somebody else's pee or poop?
No, I haven't. I haven't been tested, though, so I haven't been put in that case. But that was, I believe, 2016, 2017. Hopefully he's matured. Fulton would come in, and it would be him and Hughes.
Well, I get it, and I know I said this on another podcast, but there's concerns here, and to me the biggest concern is the lack of production. He's got 42 career tackles.
Nobody throws his way, man. Nobody throws the ball his way.
42 career tackles. That's horrifying. You were mentioning the 2 career interceptions. He does have 20 pass breakups in his career, which is nice. You're projecting this guy and what he could be and not what he's done, and to me that's always a red flag and a cautionary thing. But I agree. At this point, I would probably take him too. You got to get a corner. He's got everything you'd want. He's got this nice, long, lanky frame. He's got the size. I get it, but there's definitely red flags with this guy, and I like the pick. He also worries me at the same time.
I bet there's teams out there that have Fulton as high as top 15, and I bet there's teams out there that have him as low as mid-round 2. He is a Question mark.
Yeah, but I mean,
It's
how
all
many
about
teams
potential.
as dire a need at that position as the Vikings? Not many.
All right, so we got our corner. You're up with pick 25.
Woo! All right, pick 25. The Vikings select offensive tackle Austin Jackson from USC.
Ooh, I'll crack a beer to that.
Yeah, and to me, the biggest thing with taking an offensive tackle in round one is the drop-off in talent from round one to round two, I think, is huge. You can find better value there at wide receiver, at corner even. So the Vikings are going to, use both of their first-round picks. I don't know if they'll pick at 22 and 25. Maybe they move around, but if they do, getting Austin Jackson, he's got the athletic ability, he's got the size, he's got the strength. I don't know if he starts from day one, but I think he starts pretty damn early in his Vikings career and would be your left tackle of the future.
Yeah, Austin Jackson, I'm not going to compare him to Fulton, but he's another guy that's kind of all over the board. He could be a guy that comes off a lot sooner than anybody expects. He could actually last in the early part of round two. He's everything you want in the offensive tackle right now. Everybody is on board with the athletic tackle that is totally Austin Jackson. He needs to button up some of his technique issues, but he does have it all. I think when it comes to offensive tackles, even out of those big boys up top with Thomas, Wirth, I think he has the highest ceiling, but I think he also has the highest risk when it comes to first rounders. But I would love everything about Austin Jackson in round one.
I think, too, if you take a tackle at 25, you can move Riley Reif inside. You're basically filling two positions with one pick, so it's got that added luster to it.
You know where else you can move Riley Reif? To a different state. Get out of here.
Oh, my God. All right, you're up. Round two.
Round two. Wide receiver, I mentioned when we were talking about needs, and we neglected him in round one. And I'm going back-to-back USC guys. I'm going with a very familiar name from people that were watching football in the early 2000s, Michael Pittman Jr., USC wide receiver. He's big. He's beefy. He's got good hands. He manhandles opposing wide receivers. He can beat you out for that tough catch.
Cornerbacks.
What's that?
Opposing cornerbacks. He doesn't manhandle receivers.
Cornerbacks, yes, you're right. Sorry.
High
life is getting to me.
I know.
But he's I've compared him to this before, but I think he's kind of like in the DK Metcalf mold. I think he would come in day one and be a starter opposite Thielen. It's a great to have Thielen with his smoothness over there, and you have Pittman with his pit bull type style of play. I think he would be a great option for Kirk Cousins.
I mean, what I like about him the best, I mean, he gives what the Vikings don't have. He's 6'4". He can go up, out physical a corner for the football, high point it, be a red zone target, be a first down option when you're 3rd and 8 or whatever. The Vikings don't have a guy like Michael Pittman Jr. on the roster, and to me, taking him around 2 would be a smart move. Because you don't have him on your team right now, and this is something the Vikings receiving core has lacked for quite a while. That big, physical, dominating receiver.
Yeah, and he should be there. My guess is he will be on the board in the Vikings pick.
You mentioned right. About Austin Jackson. I could see him going earlier than many expect.
Well, if Pittman had the speed, he would be a first-round talent, no doubt. It's his speed that people question, and you're right. I can't even think of the last receiver the Vikings had was this big bruiser.
And don't say, I mean, he's not slow. He does have, I mean, he can run okay. I mean, he can get behind guys. He's not a burner, but I mean, I wouldn't call him slow by any means.
No, but he's going to get a ton of first downs, and hopefully it's wearing purple. I'd love him in round 2.
Yeah, I would too. Very excited.
Right, round three, you're up.
Round 3, first, we do have 2 third-round picks after getting a compensatory pick. So, pick 89, I'm taking safety Kyle Duggar from Lenoir Rhine school no one's ever heard of until this year.
No, never even heard of it, ever.
Yeah, this guy is 6'1". He's got big, wide, manly shoulders. He's kind of intimidating to look at. There's always going to be concern about the level of competition he faced playing for a D2 school, but he stepped up at the Senior Bowl. He held his own. This guy can cover. He can hit. The Vikings definitely need a safety, and there's been talk lately the Anthony Harris extension talks are not going well, so maybe they address this position earlier. And this guy can also return punts, so worst case scenario, if you do have Anthony Harris, this guy is going to be your punt returner, and he gives you some, top-end depth at that safety position. So I love Kyle Duggar, everything he brings to the table, so I think he would definitely be a possibility for the Vikings here at pick 89.
Yeah, pick 89, huge value, small schooler. I love small schoolers. Everybody loves small schoolers. The Vikings took a small schooler once in Tyrell Johnson, and that panned out great. So I see this being fantastic.
With that guard they took from Slippery Rock.
Hey, that did turn out right. Brandon Fusco, baby. But you're right. This guy is a thumper. Not only is a thumper, usually you don't see thumpers that have good ball instincts, and he's got that. He is all over that ball, returns punts. Harrison Smith is no youngster anymore. And even if they get Anthony Harris to re-sign on a long contract, Harris is this could be his heir apparent.
Hey, he's got 2-3 years left in him. I love Harrison Smith, but yeah, he's getting up there, getting long in the nipples, so they say.
Long in the nipples. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, let's we got another third round pick.
We do
pick. And I'm double dipping. I'm going back to receiver. I think this is such a big need. I would not be surprised with their first 5 picks if they get 2 receivers. I'm going Van Jefferson from Florida. Van Jefferson, 6'2", 197. He is not a guy that's going to come in and also be a starting wide receiver for you. He is a slot receiver, no doubt. Imagining him chucked in with Thielen and, of course, Pittman earlier. He's the perfect complement to them. He's got the slim frame. He's 6'2", offers good mitts, and he can make plays after the catch. And right now, we really don't have that slot receiver. Everybody was hoping that Chad Beebe might be that sexy undrafted guy that would come in and do it. BC Johnson.
Like Baumgartner.
Yeah. So we do not have that slot receiver. And Van Jefferson, round 3, would really help round out that receiver core.
Yeah, and first of all, the Vikings already met with him. They've shown interest in Van Jefferson. He's an excellent route runner. You don't see a lot of guys coming out of college who can run routes the way Van Jefferson does. His dad, I believe, is a wide receiver coach for the New York Jets and a former NFL wide receiver.
Sean Jefferson, great in Madden.
So this kid, he's grew up with the game. He understands the game. I think he could come in, like you said, he could be a terror out of the slot. I would love Van Jefferson with this pick, 105. It's a great value. I think he brings a lot to the table, and I wouldn't be surprised seeing him have a pretty big role in year 1.
And everything, when you read about Van Jefferson, there's always one player that people are comparing him to, and that's Mr. Thielen. Not a bad comparison.
No, it's a great comparison. A lot of people say I look like Freddie Prinze Jr. Do you agree?
You know what? I haven't seen him in a while. He was in some All She Wants. What was that name of the movie?
Yeah, you're close. It's not right, but
God. Keep going. I'm going to think of the name of the movie.
All right.
I'm close. Let's go to round 4.
Guard became a huge need after the Vikings surprisingly let go of Josh Klein, which is a move I still makes me sick in the stomach when I think about it.
I have not slept since they released him.
Yeah, I can tell. You look horrible.
Thank you.
But a guy I think would make us all smile is Shane Lemieux from Oregon. Big, thick, meaty frame, just a delicious-looking specimen. This guy's very technically sound. He's not going to overpower a lot of guys, but he understands angles. He understands hand position. I think he's a guy who's probably ready to see the field pretty early in his career, and it wouldn't surprise me to see him compete for a starting job in year 1. Shane Lemieux.
You're right. This guy, he started, I think, pretty much every damn game at Oregon. Left tackle. He's smart. That's what I love about him. He does have a little bit of ways to go, but in this is round 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Round 4, huge value. He's a guy that, again, like everybody else, he's all over the place. I wouldn't be surprised if he went in round 3. I wouldn't be surprised if he went in round 5. He needs to toughen up a little bit, but if we've got this guy, his smarts alone would push Pat Elflein day 1 for his job. If we took Lemieux, it's for the left tackle spot, and I think Elflein should be shaking his little booties.
Well, left guard spot, and yeah, I think you could push Pat Elflein.
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Hey,
by the way, it was called She's All That. Freddie Prinze Jr. She's All That.
That sounds right. That sounds better than what you said.
I think I saw that in the theater.
That wouldn't surprise me. Probably with like Brooke Carl.
No, I wish.
All right. So Shane Lemieux, we both like that pick. Moving on.
No. We don't like it. We love it. We love it.
Round 5 is you. The pick we get from the Stephon Diggs trade, making up for the Kari Vedvik disaster.
Oh, God damn it. I forgot about that. I forgot about it, but it doesn't matter. We got it. We got our 5th round pick, and this ain't going to be sexy. We need help along the defensive line, both defensive tackle, both defensive end. And I'm taking a guy that I think can play both spots. It's Nick Cole from Auburn. He's not going to come in. He's not going to be pushing for any starting spot. In fact, he'll probably be pushing for a roster spot. But he had the chance to play next to Mr. Brown, who will be a top 10 pick, who's a D tackle. He's got a lot of power. He can play defensive end. He can play defensive tackle. When you read about this guy, he needs help with his technique. People always say, like, he just needs he's a little rough around the edges. And what better spot to go to than the Minnesota Vikings? We've seen what they've done with these mid to late round guys. I think he could develop into a very solid backup that could go in at D tackle, go in defensive end, and 5th round pick to get that type of guy. I'd be all for it. He can get to the quarterback. Last year he had like 7-8 sacks. So he can get to the quarterback, but he's very powerful.
When you hit it, I think the biggest thing with this guy is his versatility. He's rushed standing up. He's played pretty much all over the front 7. Mike Zimmer could take this guy. If he doesn't make the team, you can use him in a ton of different ways, get creative with him. You can rush the passer, and you could, the options are endless with this guy for a round 5 pick. He's just a fun weapon to have on your defense that you can use in so many ways. So why not take a chance on this guy?
You mentioned he can rush standing up. When you're very, very hungover, do you ever pee sitting down?
Yeah, I pee. I cry. Shit, milk comes out.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You nailed it.
That's how bad it is.
Anything's possible.
I haven't been hungover since last draft day. I'm talking bad.
Well, draft day is right around the corner, so I fully expect that hangover to be right back at it.
Yeah. Next pick, round 6, pick 201. Going to go with A.J. Green, the corner, Oklahoma State. This guy, he's not going to wow you with his speed, but he is 6'1". He's a big, lanky Mike Zimmer kind of corner. Technically, he's pretty sound. He held his own at the Senior Bowl. And sometimes I see this guy a lot higher in mocks, but I also see him lower. I think round 6-ish is a pretty good spot for him. The Vikings has to take more than one corner in this draft, and I expect them to get, 1 early and 2 or 3 late. So A.J. Green to me would be a huge get for the Vikings here in round 6.
Yeah, and spoiler alert, this is not the last corner you're going to see in this mock draft. Yeah. You kind of hit it. A.J. Green's a guy that just kind of does everything well. He's a guy that could, given maybe a couple of years, maybe gets to that 3rd, 4th corner. He's going to be at the bottom of the depth chart. There's no doubt about it. But he's got the size. I love A.J.
Meters?
No. I would love A.J. Green, and mostly be just because of what his name is, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
He's got that going for him.
He does.
All right. 2nd pick of round 6. We're going fan favorite here. There's no doubt about it. My heartstrings pulsate when I think of this guy. It's Garrett Marino, UAB defensive tackle. What I love about this guy, who doesn't love a mean defensive tackle? And that's him. He's a bruiser. He's strong. At times might even get a little bit too fired up out there. He's got 11 career sacks, but his MO is he is a run stuffer. The shitty part about Marino is he's already 25 years old. He is an old fart out there, but this is round 6. Senior Bowl, anybody who watched the Senior Bowl will remember him. Made that big old play. What's the first thing he does? Pulls up his shirt and he rubs this big old hairy belly right on television. It was beautiful.
It was the East-West Shrine game, but yeah.
You know what? It might have been the worst. It was it really? Damn it. It was the East-West Shrine game. But he does make big plays. And regardless of his age, I think he could actually damn near be a backup at this point on this team. I love Garrett Marino. He plays angry.
Well, to me, he's the scrappy do of the NFL draft. I mean, this guy is undersized, but his energy is so off the charts. He's so hyper. He's so nuts. He makes up for it. So, yeah, I mean, I get it. You got to have a D tackle at some point in this draft, and why not take a chance on this guy who he's a battler, he's a fighter, he's a scrappy guy. So I get it. I would, hopefully the Vikings would have addressed this position earlier, but if you wait this long, you can't do much worse than Garrett Marino.
He's old, he's weathered, he's hairy. And you're right, I'm really upset. It was the East-West Shrine game.
It was. All right.
Dominating
So
that thing.
round 7, the Vikings have 3 picks. The first one's at 219, and I'm taking one of my favorite guys in this draft, Shyheim Carter, safety from Alabama. Another scrappy guy. He's a former cornerback, so we know his coverage skills are top notch. The Vikings are very, very thin at safety. They got to get probably 2 in this draft, unless they're planning on signing somebody in June. Because right now it's just Smith and Harris there, if Harris even stays. This guy, worst case, he's going to be a standalone special teamer for you. He's aggressive. He'll attack, but I mean, you got to have another safety. You can't just go into the season with 3, if assuming that we do draft one at pick round 3 that we had earlier. So, love this guy, versatility. You gotta love guys who play in the SEC. You can't get much better experience playing against top competition that you do there. So, Shyheim Carter, late round pick. I love this guy. One of my favorite targets in this draft.
Yeah, there's never anytime a Alabama corner comes out in the draft, I instantly love him. It doesn't matter if he's going to suck. I remember Ed Reynolds. I mean, Eddie Jackson, you can name safeties from Alabama for years. They just always have that guy. Carter, I mean, he's got special teams written all over him. What I love about him is he already said it. He can play corner, he can play safety, but he will be a special teamer. And that's really, I mean, it's round 7. It's round 7. I mean, by this time, you're going to be shit-faced in the corner, passed out, crying about mom or something.
No.
I've nachos on your belly.
I've made it through the draft the last couple of years. I'm on a streak right now.
Well, I hope that streak ends.
No,
the next round 7 pick, we're keeping it in the secondary. I told you there's another cornerback, and this guy is starting to kind of like Garrett Marino. Everybody loves late rounders. Everybody loves them. You always get value. You get some guy that's sliding there. This guy actually probably deserves to be in round 7. It's Reggie Robinson, cornerback from Tulsa. Big hitter, good size, 6'1", 205. What I love about him is he's been a starter since his freshman year. He's not really going to wow you with his speed, his athleticism. I'm not really talking him up right now, but he is another guy like Carter, special teams guy that can also looked at as maybe moving over to safety. So he offers that versatility, kind of the backward side of Carter. But Reggie Robinson, again, I love the fact that he's got that experience, kind of like every other corner we've taken. They have experience, and that's what we need.
I actually saw a mock on NFL.com by one of those analysts they had. They had Reggie Robinson. I think it was us taking him in round 2.
Oh, God, are you serious?
Yeah.
A GM needs to be fired immediately.
Yeah. I tried looking him up. Couldn't find much on him. He is 6'1", 212 pounds. You gotta love his size. When I do my mock drafts, I always take Reggie Robinson. Why not?
Round 2?
Size. Yeah, he was in round 2 in a NFL.com mock.
Wow. Well, it sounds like we got quite the steal here.
Yeah, I think we did. So last pick of this mock, pick 253. I'm doing it. I'm taking quarterback Tyler Huntley from Utah.
Oh.
I love this guy. He's the anti-Kirk Cousins. He's a zone read guy. He's athletic. He can run. He can make plays. He's exciting. He's got a strong enough arm. He does tend to lock in on his first option. He doesn't really go through his progressions at all. That'll come in time. But what I want the Vikings to have is that guy who can come off the bench, light a spark. Sean Mannion, he's a wet match. He ain't lighting any kind of fires.
Hey, take that back. That's rude.
No, I
wet match?
Huntley would be exciting.
He's a legend.
You take him now, you can sign him for 4 years. You can develop this guy, and who knows? Maybe you hit on something here. He's got tons of upside. It'd just be fun having a guy who is the anti-Kirk Cousins, who can move, make plays with his legs, and be very exciting. And just, that's what I want to see. A guy who comes in a game. How hard would it be for defense who's been preparing for Kirk Cousins, who's a statue, to all of a sudden have to face Tyler Huntley halfway through a game? It would be definitely difficult to defend. So I just think this guy, for a late-round pick, he gives you a lot more than a lot of late-round quarterbacks might.
Well, I want to be very clear. I don't think it'd be very hard at all for a defense to defend Tyler Huntley.
Really? I think they would.
No, Huntley was very fun to watch in college. The guy makes plays with his legs. He kind of plays like he doesn't give a shit. He's got a good arm. He flings that thing around. Total project, absolutely. You think Huntley, you think like Joe Webb.
Hell yeah, the next Joe Webb, who's still in the league.
Who you could also, you see Tyler Huntley playing slot receiver over there. Round 7, this quarterback class this year, it's very top heavy. After you get past round 3 or whatever, it's kind of just a crapshoot. And Huntley would be one guy that I would love the Vikings to see take, just because you're right. He's the complete opposite of Cousins, complete opposite of Sean Mannion. I don't know if anyone actually compares to Sean Mannion, but Huntley would be a fun guy to watch. Imagine the hype he'd get in preseason when he's out there in the fourth quarter rushing for 80 yards a game. It'd be great.
Ripping shit up.
That's our 7-round mock. I think we nailed some positions, but there was some we missed on.
Well, if you could do a redo, or at least what position would you want to have addressed earlier than what we did?
Well, the big things is we got our corner, we got our offensive line, and we definitely double dipped at receiver all in the first 3 rounds. But defensive line was definitely neglected. Putting your hopes and dreams on Nick Coe in round 5 to add some much needed depth is a little scary. Guard, we did wait till round 4. Guard is a huge need, but I also think that's very top heavy. So if we missed the boat, Lemieux was huge value, but defensive tackle and guard are my big boys.
Yeah, I agree on the D tackle. I would like to have hit this a little bit earlier than round 6. You got to have that interior guy who can create the pass rush, and I love Armand Watts, but I'd love to have somebody else who can compete with him. Other than that, I think we just freaking nailed this thing.
Nailed it. I
would only assume we'd probably be doing one more before the draft takes place.
Oh, we're gonna bring at least one more 7-round mock draft, and then a full 1st-round mock draft, and then we're gonna have a brand new podcast coming out this Thursday, I believe, and we'll be talking more about that.
Hell yeah! So until then, hey, here's a little fact for you guys to chew on. Turns out the game Twister was originally called Pretzel.